Everyone. For today's education topic, we will be discussing nutrition facts. The outline for today's talk includes why we care about nutrition facts tables, the targets that you should be aiming for per serving, and ways to apply the information that you've learned. So why do we care about nutrition facts tables? Well, they help us determine what nutrients are in a particular food. They also make it easy to compare similar food products and make an informed and hopefully heart-healthy choice. So let's take a look at a nutrition facts table. So up on the screen here, I have the newer version that is expected to come into full effect at the end of 2022. So you're going to see the older version consistently replaced until the end of this year. A few changes that have occurred include standardizing the serving size, so they're comparable between two products, organizing the macronutrients, so fat, protein, carbohydrates in a better fashion so they're easier to read, as well as updating the vitamins and minerals to include more relevant ones. Now, when you read a nutrition facts table, the first thing that you always want to look at is the serving size. This is located right below that title, Nutrition Facts, and all of the numbers below are based upon that serving size. So if you look at that serving size and say to yourself, I normally eat twice this amount, then you would double all of your numbers when you're reading your nutrition facts table. The opposite can be true too. If you reduce or typically consume about half the amount they list there, then you would divide your numbers by 2. Now, if we take a little bit of a look at the targets per serving that you want to look for fat, for heart health, for fat, we want less than about 5 to 10 grams per serving. Saturated fat, we want less than 2 grams per serving. Trans fats, we want 0. Now, you're going to notice that food products contain very little to no trans fats anymore, as they've been eliminated from our food supply. Fiber, ideally, we want more than 2 grams. This is going to be of some benefits. We want more than 2 grams. Sugar, less than 10 grams, and sodium, less than 200 milligrams. So you can see from my food product on the right-hand side of the screen, it is a cereal. For 1 cup, this product is giving me 8 grams of fat, so that will fit. 3 grams of saturated fat, a little bit higher than the 2 grams that we'd like you to shoot for. Trans fats is 0. Fiber is 2, so again, borderline for fiber. Sugar is a little high at 14 grams. We want it less than 10. And sodium is at 5 milligrams, so very low in sodium. So this particular cereal is a little high in saturated fat and sugar for my liking. I'd say, continue down the grocery store aisle and see if you can find one that's a little bit more appropriate for heart health. Now, if you go to the grocery store and you forget your grams and your milligrams, the next best thing to use is the percent daily value. So percent daily value is a quick tool to determine if a product has a little or a lot of a nutrient. So anything above 15% is considered a lot. Anything under 5% is considered a little. So this particular brownie, now I'm sure you're thinking this is not going to fit so well. So it is a little high in fat at 20%. We combine the saturated and the trans fats numbers, and it's a little high in that, it's 30%. Little low in fiber at 4%, and high in sugar at 21%. The sodium, we would say that that's acceptable or a moderate amount, right, at 10%. So this is not a particular product that I want to see show up in your diet all the time. In fact, I might suggest that you try to find an alternative dessert that might be a little bit more heart healthy than this one. In addition to your nutrition facts table, we also want you to look at the ingredient list. And if you see a lot of these ingredients popping up, they might not be the best for heart health. So these are ingredients that would indicate sugar, saturated fat, and salt or sodium. So for sugar, you want to look for anything that ends in OSE, glucose, fructose, sucrose, or syrup. Brown rice syrup, agave syrup, maple syrup. Saturated fat, you're looking for butter, coconut oil, palm kernel oil, and lard. And for salt or sodium, you're looking for that word salt, but also anything with sodium in it. Sodium chloride, sodium phosphate, monosodium glutamate. The fewer of these words that you see, the less sugar, saturated fat, and salt is going to be in the product. Now, hopefully you've gained a little bit of knowledge on how to read nutrition facts tables. But if you're still a little confused, I want you to take this message with you. As much as nutrition labels help identify products with the lowest sugar, fat, and salt, be mindful that it's the foods with no nutrition facts table that are the best. So if you think about the foods in your grocery store that don't contain a nutrition facts table, we often think of fresh fruits, vegetables, and fresh meats. Single ingredient foods would be considered products like milk, olive oil, and almonds. These are the types of foods that we want you to choose more often. More of the fresh, whole, real foods that are naturally lower in sugar, fat, and salt. So some take-home points today. Make sure that you're reading your nutrition facts tables. And the best place to start is actually in your own kitchen. Go home and read those nutrition facts tables of items that you have in your pantry or in your fridge. Based on the targets that I've given you, assess whether they're heart healthy or not, and maybe pick out 5 that aren't so heart healthy. And the next time you go to the grocery store, read through a few products that you find on the shelf and find one that's a little more heart healthy that's acceptable to you. Slowly but surely, you'll start to replace those items with heart healthy items and heart healthy alternatives, and your diet will improve. So thanks for joining us today. If you have any specific questions or would like to take a deeper dive into your own personal eating habits, feel free to book a consult with one of our registered dietitians. Thanks for listening.